Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jigneshkumar Parikh. I am chartered accountant by profession. I am practicing mainly in the area of direct taxes. Now, through this smaller videos or a short duration videos, we would be discussing certain judgments on income tax. If you have any doubts, comments, queries relevant to those judgments which we are discussing through these videos, please do share the same in the chat box or comment box given below or a description box given below. It would be a pleasure to address to those comments and queries, and I would try to revert to them to the extent I can. The first judgment or that we are going to discuss in this video is that of Honorable Calcutta High Court, that is with respect to taxability of retention money. We are aware that in contracts, contractee reserve the right to retain certain percentage of the billing amount as retention money, which is going to be disbursed upon satisfaction of certain conditions. The issue is this retention money is to be included in computation of total income or not, meaning thereby it is to be offered to tax or not, which has actually been retained by the contractee and has not been given to me. So the issue came before Honorable Calcutta High Court in the case of EMC Limited 2022 142 taxman.com 48 Calcutta High Court. Honorable Calcutta High Court decided this in favor of assessee, confirming the decision of Honorable CIT Appeal and ITAT by holding that retention money retained by the contractee being deferred payment and contingent upon satisfactory completion of contract work, assessee would have no vested right to receive the same in the year in which it was retained. Income was to be booked in the year of actual receipt. What has happened in this case is the contractee had retained certain portion of billing amount as per the contract but deducted TDS on that under section 194C. So the revenue had taken a stand that since tax has been deducted, income is said to have accrued to the assessee and it is required to be included now in the total income, and hence the Honorable CIT Appeal and Honorable ITT both have decided in favor of assessee and the decision has been confirmed by Honorable Calcutta High Court. The issue now is that this judgment pertains to the year where income computation on disclosure standards were not in force. More precisely, Section 43 CB was not in force. Section 43 CB was introduced by Finance Act 2018, which provides as under: the profits and gain arising from a construction contract or a contract for providing services shall be determined on the basis of percentage completion method in accordance with income computation and disclosure standards notified under subsection 2 of section 145. Now, subsection 2 goes this way: for the purpose of percentage of completion method, project completion method or straight line method referred to in subsection 1, the contract revenue shall include retention money. Now, by virtue of this section 43B, the revenue has trying to or has tried to include retention money into the contract revenue irrespective of the fact that I have not received the right to recover that particular amount. Now, the problem is, or the issue is, will this judgment be now applicable? Or can today a contractor take a stand that since right to recovery has not been established, it is not falling in the scope of total income, and since it is not falling in the scope of total income, it is not being offered to tax, or it will be offered to tax in the year in which it is actually received, despite 43 CB precisely provides this way. Certainly, taking that stand would be contrary to the intention of the lawmakers, as is quite apparent from the provisions of section 43 CB. However, one may refer to the provisions of section 5, which defines, or rather which talks about scope of total income. They say that subject to the provisions of this act, the total income of any previous year of a person who is resident includes all income from whatever source derived which is received or is deemed to be received in India. Clause B, accrues or arise or is deemed to accrue or arise to him in India, meaning thereby it should have accrued to him. Now the issue is, what does the term accrue means, or when it can be said that income has accrued or arisen. Now these terms have not been defined in the act. One may refer to the judgment of Gujarat High Court in the case of Anup Engineering. Honorable Gujarat High Court has followed Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Ashok Chimanbhai 1965 56 ITR 42. Now here the term accrual has been defined. What does Honorable Supreme Court say? The word accrue and arise have not been defined in the act, but the Supreme Court in Ashok Bhai Chimanbhai 1965-56 ITR 42 has observed that the word accrue and arise are used to contradistinguish the word receive. Income is said to have been received when it reaches assessee. When right to receive the income becomes vested in the assessee, income is said to have accrued or arisen. Thus, income becomes taxable on the footing of accrual only when right to receive the income becomes vested to the assessee. So, an income is said to have been accrued only when right to receive the said income gets vested to the assessee. Unless it gets vested to the assessee, it cannot be considered to have been accrued. If it cannot be considered to have been accrued, it doesn't fall in the scope of total income as given under section 5. When the test of section 5 itself has not been met, one can argue a case on the strength of this argument that despite 43B, or other section 43 CB, section 43 CB, despite mentioning that contract revenue shall include retention money, but since the test of section 5 is not being satisfied, income is not said to have been accrued, and hence it cannot be brought to tax in the year when it is retained, and one has to wait till the receipt. A similar principle was propounded by Honorable Supreme Court in the case of E.D. Sasoon and Company Limited versus CIT 1954 26 ITR 27. It has been held in the said case that if the assessee acquires a right to receive the income is said to have accrued to him, though it may be received later on. The basic conception is that he must have acquired a right to receive the income. In other words, there must be a debt owed to him by somebody. Unless and until a debt is created in favor of the assessee by somebody, it cannot be said that income has the assessee has acquired a right to receive the income or income has accrued to him. Meaning thereby there has to be an existence of date created in favor of assessee by somebody. So if there is no existence of date created in favor of assessee by somebody, income cannot be said to have been accrued. In case of retention money, we all are aware that it is to be payable or it is to be released only when certain conditions are satisfied in a time to come. So it is entirely upon satisfaction of certain conditions in a time to come. If those conditions are not met, the amount will not come to you, so amount is not going to be received. Since the right to receive has not been established, the test of section 5 fails. On this strength, a case may be argued and a view may be taken by the judiciary in favor of assessee. However, I would advise that it is not desirable to invite litigations. If somebody has already taken a stand and matter comes to us, we can definitely forward this argument. But on the strength of this argument, one may not plan the tax liability by not offering this retention money to tax in the year in which it is retained on the strength of the argument that it has not accrued to him. Because end of the day, what revenue has tried is they only try to prepone the tax liability. End of the day, it is going to be taxed in the year of receipt, which is 1 or 2 years, 3 years down the line. So the only, I understand it would have impact on the liquidity, it would have some interest cost, but to avoid the litigation, one may offer the same to tax in the year in which the billing has been done, I mean on a percentage completion method itself, without reducing the retention money. However, if some client has already done or some assessee has already taken a view or has not included this retention money, then to protect his interest, this argument may be taken. So we discussed one judgment in this short video, or rather it is the first video of mine. If you have any doubts, comments, suggestions, please do share. I would try to address to them to the extent I can. I would try to come up with such kind of short videos where we would discuss 1 or 2 judgments in each video and try to understand its impact. If you wish that I should come up with judgments on a particular area of income tax, you may also mention that in the comment box. I would prioritize the same. Thank you very much. Wish you all a great time ahead. Please take good care of yourself.